Now, a paediatrician at Rahima Moosa Mother and Child Hospital in Johannesburg has been suspended by the Department of Health in Gauteng. Dr. Tim De Maayer penned an open letter back in May, published in the Daily Maverick, in which he details the poor state of affairs at public hospitals, particularly the one he works at. He's now been suspended with immediate effect, with the department citing his engagement with the media, among other reasons. Now, some healthcare professionals have come out in support of the now suspended doctor. Let's speak to one of those professionals. Professor Adam Mahomed is from Charlotte Maxeke Hospital, and he joins us this morning via our video link. Prof, it's great to talk to you. I suppose the question is, do you also risk suspension with this engagement with the media after what happened to Tim De Maayer?
Good morning, Michelle, and good morning to your listeners. I'm not really worried about suspension or being fired or whatever. It's time to be vocal and speak for what is right and the justice that needs to be done in the healthcare system. And hands off, hats off, applaud Dr. Tim De Maayer, one of the most unique gentle giants you can get in looking after patients in this country and in that hospital. What he's done is nothing except highlight facts and the state of disaster in that hospital, which is a reflection of Southern Gauteng health. And this has been going on for a long time. Yeah. The audacity, the insincerity of the management to suspend a guy who is a scarce, valuable resource. He's just not a pediatrician. He's a gastro-enterologist as well, with less than 5 in the country, and we're treating him like a common hoodlum. If you saw his letter of suspension, you have to be off the premises. Please remove your variables. It's like he was a prisoner. Now he's being escorted to prison. It's not fair. It's not appropriate. And healthcare workers need to make more noise to let Gauteng Department of Health and let the premier of this province know this is not enough, what is being done. First, Charlotte Maxeke, the challenges at Barra, at Helen Joseph, Bread. Now you want to go and suspend a person who is a critical part of service delivery. I'm embarrassed, and shame on all of those that are part of this. You don't represent us in this Gauteng health. You don't represent patients. You are causing more havoc. And I want people to be accountable for this injustice that's being carried out.
Appalling doesn't begin to describe it. And in fact, one of the questions that Dr. Tim De Maayer asks in that open letter is, would you admit your child to this hospital? You talk about the other professionals who have come out in his support. Dr. Gail Ashford has also tweeted in support of him, saying exactly what you've said about his specialization. He came to work, she says, this will ensure the failure of pediatric gastro service at Rahima Moosa Hospital. It will have a domino effect on his colleagues and their ability to care for sick children. How do they sleep at night? Another big question.
The morale is so bad for healthcare workers, and then you take a nail and hit it into our back. This is what the management is doing. And I wish for accountability from someone to do this. There's poor communication between the MEC, HOD, and the CEO of the hospital if this has gotten thus far. And this is a reflection of what's happening in this province. And we're not winning. Let us stop and acknowledge that instead of saying how amazing we are. We're not amazing. We have such a long way to go. And Dr. Tim De Maayer has the character and integrity to stand up for what he believes in. Wow. And now you want to punish him? And he has tons of support from the University of Witwatersrand, from the heads of departments, from numerous colleagues across the country, from different societies. And if things don't change and healthcare workers are not treated with respect and dignity, I'm sorry, this is going to be the start of the end for people in province that are treating us worse than criminals. And I want the public out there to become vocal about quality healthcare. We're not talking quantity healthcare. We're talking quality healthcare. You want to implement NHI? Let's fix this simple thing. There's no water at his hospital. Gift of the Givers had to build a borehole. That's the degree of what he's talking about. Yeah. Electricity, public works, Department of Infrastructure and Development. It's not just about Gauteng health. It's the whole system is crumbling. And who is suffering? The most vulnerable patients. And from Nelson Mandela, he protected and loved children. What are we doing? We're attacking the most vulnerable patients. The person who can't speak, the child. This is barbaric and inhumane. and things have to stop and change immediately.
I mean, suspending someone who is very, very clearly, if anyone has read his letter, you will tell from his letter that he's very clearly dedicated to his job. His suspension coming again at a time where Rahima, Moosa and other hospitals in public healthcare can ill afford his loss of expertise. I want to just read a portion of his letter, that open letter that Dr. Tim De Maayer penned, and he talks specifically about that electricity and water issue. He says, and he's addressing the authorities here, I wish you would come and look at the toilets when the water has been cut off because the local reservoir is running low. Or even better, come and see how hospital-acquired infections spread like wildfire through the neonatal ward because the taps are dry, and washing your hands while lifting a 5-liter water container after examining each child is just not feasible. He says, come out of your ivory towers and come and use our lidless toilets. Will these officials, Professor Mahomed, will they come and have their children treated at Rahima, Moosa and at other hospitals? Will they come and use the toilets?
I can tell you something. I personally would not take my child there. And the principle is, and I think this is what we as officials and human beings, if it's not good enough for my mother, my child, my sister, my brother, it's not good enough for any stranger in this country. We need to improve and get better. But people are getting away with murder. I'm sorry, this is murder when you are suspending someone in a time of crisis for a nonsense reason, because someone is highlighting your deficiencies and weaknesses, so now you want to silence. This smacks of apartheid days, and something has to stop. Someone has to intervene. Otherwise, we are going down the slippery road of anarchy, and we're going to never recover. And NHI will never succeed if we can't even fix up simple things like this of communication. And I want to challenge the Premier and the MEC and HOD to sort out the people that have put us in this crisis yet again in this province.
Because the truth of it is, this is the letter of suspension that Dr. Tim De Maayer received from Gauteng Health. Point number 3 says, the decision of the suspension comes as a consequence of your unbecoming conduct. You took to the media, you have given an interview to the Daily Maverick without the knowledge, permission and authorization from the management of the hospital or the Gauteng Department of Health. So if that's unbecoming conduct, how about the administration of our public hospitals in this country? What does that amount to?
I agree with you on it. It's actually so much. It's so ironic that they could use those words, unbecoming, unprofessional conduct. If anything, I think he's the most professional doctor that I know, and he has the backbone of a giant, and we should use him to galvanize what is going wrong in this country. And we need to call out people that are not doing their job. Whether it's me or the Premier or the HOD, let's make people accountable. I'm in a position of seniority in my hospital. Hold me accountable. Fire me if you think something is wrong. But do not go and pick on the most vulnerable, the guys that are on the forefront and working. And that's Dr. Tim De Maayer. He's at the forefront of working and touching people and making a difference in life. I could give you an example how to describe him. If he could breastfeed a child that's dying, he would do that. That's the type of person he is. But he's reflecting what is happening in southern Gauteng healthcare services. This is a cry and plea from him and also on behalf of all healthcare workers. This is not about doctors. This is about doctors, nurses, patients, mothers, brothers, sisters. Too many people are dying. Something has to change. And don't tell me we don't have enough money. We are one of the top-ranked countries according to GDP that is spent on health. But we just need people to stop stealing. Then we would be okay and take accountability.
In fact, one of the top lines in his letter says exactly that. Children are dying and the horrendous conditions in our public hospitals are contributing to their deaths. And now his suspension will continue to do that as well, will continue to contribute to the death of more children. I want to ask you this question as we round off our interview, Professor Mahomed. The truth of it is, doctors like yourself and Dr. Tim De Maayer, you have specialist knowledge and qualifications insofar as healthcare is concerned. Why stay in the country? I suppose that is the question. Why stay in the country why work in public health care when your life could be a lot easier? That surely also speaks to the level of humanity that our doctors in public health care have.
I agree with you 100%. Let me tell you something. This country is amazing. We do amazing healthcare work when we do stuff. We are leaders in lots of fields in this country. This is an amazing country. This is an amazing healthcare system. We just need amazing administration and amazing politicians to join the amazing country. And then we'll be even more amazed at how well we do. And if we stop stealing and stop all this tender nonsense and illicit things, we will be in the top 3 in the world. Most of us in the healthcare sector will not leave this country because it's beyond money and luxury. We love the people in this country. We love what we're doing. Don't break our bones. Don't do this. And I think no matter what people do, there will always be a core of healthcare workers in this country that will die in this country no matter what happens, because the passion and love for our patients, our people, will remain beyond many presidents, MECs, premiers that will come and go. The healthcare workers will remain and carry on to sustain. We want the public to get behind us and shake the political system to make healthcare better in this country.
Professor Adam Mahomed is a clinical head of internal medicine at Charlotte Maxeke Academic Hospital. Thank you so much for speaking to us this morning, Prof. The question, I suppose, is who will be held accountable for the suspension of Dr. Tim De Maayer when the already fragile system exists at Rahima Moosa Hospital? As you just heard there, he's not only a pediatrician, he's also a pediatric gastro-enterologist. So that is specialist knowledge that is now lost to Rahima Moosa Mother and Child Hospital as well. It's a big story we're tracking for you this morning as we continue a focus on Gauteng health.